السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي جعل ذكره طمأنينة للقلوب وجلاء لها عن رين الذنوب ومطردة لوسواس الخناس المكذوب، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الداعي إلى كل فعل محبوب وأمر مطلوب، وعلى آله وأصحابه المقتفين سبيله على خير أسلوب. أما بعد، فيقول رب تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المنزل: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: لا تحسبن الذين يفرحون بما أتوا ويحبون أن يحمدوا بما لم يفعلوا فلا تحسبنهم بمفازة من العذاب ولهم عذاب أليم، ولله ملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء قدير. And do not think that those who rejoice in what they have perpetrated or like to be praised for what they did not do, never think them to be safe from the punishment. For them is a punishment of pain, a painful punishment, and to Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is over all things competent. Alhamdulillah, we have completed 17 of the 20 Fatil Lisan, the calamities of the tongue, which are evil utterances, in the previous two terms. So now we are on our 18th today. Our last session, we did the ذو لسانين، the كلام ذي اللسانين الذي يتردد بين متعاديين ويكلم كل واحد منهم كل واحد بكلام يوافقه. That this is of the person who has two tongues and who frequents two opposing sides, two opposing groups, and says to each group, each side, that he is with them and that they are on the right track. And the reason for this is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects us to measure what comes out of our mouth as our actions, so that we should count the words that we produce as part of our a'mal. In lisan, it's from your a'mal, it's of your deeds. So your words are deeds which will be measured and weighed on the day of judgment. So one has to measure them carefully when you use them. And if you're indulging in such a activity, then the warnings are dire. For the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man kana lahu wajhani fi dunya," that the person who has two-faced person in this world, wajhani fi dunya, kana lahu lisanani min an-nari yawm al-qiyamati, that this person will have two tongues of fire on the day of judgment. And what greater warning can we have for that? Is that a Muslim should be truthful and a person with whom people feel confident that when they say something that they can take it, because the word of a Muslim, the value of the word of a Muslim is great, both in his heart, because he knows in his heart, and should be in the writing of the angel, because the angel is noting everything that you've written. And so that value has to be in the heart, so that you know when you say something that this is not just something that will pass with the wind that comes out of your mouth. This is something that the angels have noted. They have registered this utterance, and if Allah takes you to task with it on the day of judgment, it will become a weight in your scale on the day of judgment. So a Muslim has to be very careful with their utterances, and that's what this whole discussion is about. This whole series is based on the fact that the entire body, all the organs of the body, are calling upon the individual to upon the tongue. All the organs of the body focuses on the tongue and says, "Look, you have to be straight. If the tongue is straight, إذا عوججت اعوججنا, إذا استقمت استقمنا." That if you stay straight, then we will all stay straight. But if you veer off course, then it will lead us all off course. That's the heart included. Now today, The 18th afa, the 18th calamity is الآفة الثامنة الآفة الثامنة عشرة. This is the 18th afa, and it's al-madh, praise. Now, on the surface of it, this seems like a good thing, praise, but it is praise in the wrong place can turn out to be problematic for us, and this is what this warning is. وهو منهي عنه, and this is what Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi is saying. وهو منهي عنه في بعض المواضع, and it is prohibited in certain situations, in certain cases. And وأما الذم فهو الغيبة والوقيعة وقد ذكرنا ما حي. It is not like criticism of people that is condemned or in all cases, with a few exceptions. This is the praise of people where you end up using it for the wrong reason and in the wrong place. And like so many of the topics in this book that we have covered so far, it speaks to the modern condition, even though this book was written nearly 1,000 years ago. It shows the insight, the deep insight into the human condition, and the characteristics of the human heart that Imam Ghazali had. That what he says has resonance. What he said nearly 1,000 years ago has resonance for us, sharp resonance for our life today. And this discussion today is no exception. We have a clear problem with this, with madh, because we live in a time where our society is gripped by a frenzy of seeking social feedback, seeking confirmation, seeking recognition from society, and this is done, of course, more so than anywhere else on the internet, where we're looking for likes. A person, the amount of likes that decides a person's self-esteem, or value, or sense of self-esteem. People say that likes are always the indicator of your social standing, and if your likes increase, then that increases your social status and your self-worth. Your self-esteem is dependent on the number of likes you get. And of course, this is a problem, because through social media, short-term, you get these short-term peaks, and then you run into crashing low ditches of self-esteem, and that becomes a problem for mental health. Lots of young people are suffering from that because of this problem. They've built their entire view of themselves, the view of the self-worth, through the media, through social media, and recognition of the number of social confirmations and social feedback they get, and the number of ticks, number of likes. This hand that shows the thumb, and emotions are all reduced down to very impoverished looking faces in the form of emojis, and all of these are things that create a simplification of a very complex system that Allah has created in our hearts, and we are simplifying it and making it and restricting it to such to the system that then make us become very vulnerable to it, and it can lead to health problems. But apart from that, in Islam, it's not only mental health problems that the warning is to protect you from. It is the warnings here are to protect you from the bigger tragedies, the tragedies that are beyond this, and those tragedies are the ones that we may face on the day of judgment, and that is why the warning here is about that. So he's saying here, وَالْمَدْحُ يُدْخِلُهُ وَالْمَدْحُ يَدْخُلُهُ سِتُّ آفَاتٍ, that praise is accompanied with, but when you indulge in flattery and brandishment and cajoling and sweet talking, and there's a whole range of names for it, but it's essentially the same thing. That when you indulge in this, that there are 6 potential calamities that link. There are 6 potential serious evils, serious pitfalls that are lurking around it. Arba'un, he's saying, Arba'un fil madih, وإثنان في الممدوح, that 4 are associated with the person indulging in it, the one who says it, the speaker, the one who indulges in praise, in flattery, and 2 are related to the one who's the recipient of the praise. So he goes through now. He says, فَأَمَّا الْمَادِحِ فَالْأُولَى, as for the one who speaks, he says, فَالْأُولَى أَنَّهُ قَدْ يُفْرِطُ, that he may go into excess, he may go beyond the point of necessity. فَيَنْتَهِي بِهِ الْإِفْرَاطُ, that his excessive praise may then drag him, فَيَنْتَهِي بِهِ الْإِفْرَاطُ إِلَى الْكَذِبِ, that he will take him into lies, take him into untruth. And lying, as we know, we did lying. What a dangerous thing that is. So it will take him into lying, and that's why قال خالد بن معدان من مدح إماما أو أحدا بما ليس فيه على رؤوس الأشهاد بعثه الله يوم القيامة يتعثر بلسانه, that whoever praises an imam, and he used the word imam, what he actually means, it's a sultan, a ruler. People go, and this happens mostly with the interaction between subjects and rulers. A person goes into the court of a ruler, and he says, and he praises him in front of everybody, and with things that he does not, bima laysa fihi, with things that he does not possess. You might praise him with things that he does not possess in front of people. Then Allah will call him, Allah will send him on the day of judgment, make him arrive on the day of judgment, and he will stumble with his speech, he will have aphasia, he wouldn't be able to speak properly, his tongue, his ability to explain himself, as a form of punishment, as a form of degradation, that you're trying to talk and you're making no sense. That's how you will be punished for it at the start on the day of judgment. So to avoid going, the reason why you shouldn't go into excessive praise is that you will easily slip into telling lies, and so one has to be measured, controlled, and restrained when you're speaking about somebody, saying praises about someone. So الثانية, the second is أنه قد يدخله الرياء, that it may then drag the speaker into ostentation. It may drag him into riya, into showing off, or into فإنه بالمدح مظهر للحب, that he's showing off of how much he loves this person who he's speaking to. So in that, there is instead of saying, when you praise someone, you're calling attention towards the person you're speaking, but in this you may also call attention to yourself. وقد لا يكون مضمرا له, and the person ولا معتقدا لجميع ما يقول, and the person may have something completely different in his heart about what he is saying about this person. He may be saying good things about someone, but in his heart he's something completely different, and he doesn't believe what he is saying. فيسير به مرائيا منافقا, and then as a result of that, he will be also not only be an ostentatious person, a person who is showing off, but he will also be a munafiq, a hypocrite. So that's the second reason. والثالث أنه قد يقول ما لا يتحققه ولا سبيل له إلى الاطلاع عليه. And the third thing is that he may say things that he is not well acquainted with. There's no way he cannot reach there. He is not verified. He's not well acquainted with what he is saying, and there is no way of knowing. There's no way of arriving at certainty in that matter. وروي أن رجلا, and he's giving an example here now to support this point. He's saying وروي أن رجلا مدح رجلا عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال له عليه الصلاة والسلام ويحك, that a person praised someone heavily, spoke heavily about someone in front of his face, in front of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and he said, oh, woe to you. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, woe to you, قطعت عنق صاحبك ولو سمعها. No, he didn't say it in front of me, he said it in front of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. And he said, what you're saying here is that if you say, that if he hears this, ما أفلح, that if he hears this great praise that you're doing, and you have no real knowledge of what you're saying, in other words, you قطعت رأس عنقه, that you have decollated his neck, his head. So this is one way of saying that, look, you will make his head swell so big that he'll become, the emotions will take over, and he will lose sight of who he actually is. So his brain, his memory of himself, and his ability to think properly will go. You've separated this from the rest of him. He would not be able. So you've cut him off. ما أفلح, he will not be, and he will not prosper if he hears that. ثم قال إن كان أحدكم لا بد مادحا أخاه, that if you want to praise your brother, this is the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's saying that if you intend to praise your brother, أخاه, فليقل, he should say, أحسبه فلان, أحسب فلانا, that I imagine him to be so, I think him to be so, that I consider him to be so. ولا أزكي على الله أحد, but I do not know the secret of the heart. Only Allah knows that, and I do not do this. Allah is the one. Allah knows what will be the distant end of this person, what will be his final end. Only Allah knows. So what I can only say that that's what I consider, but Allah knows. I'm not saying this with absolute categorical statements in such a way that I think that this is so and it's absolutely so. We're not doing this in any absolute sense. I'm making a general recommendation. I'm saying yes, that he is, but لا أزكي على الله, I do not know the secrets of the hearts of anyone over and above Allah. وإن كان يرى أنه كذلك, but even though he looks to me like that, that's how you should. So you should be reserved in what you say. You shouldn't give all out praise unless you have knowledge of that, like some people do. Some people have knowledge of through insight and through wahi, or the Prophet ﷺ knew. But if you don't have this, then you cannot. وهذه الآفة, and this calamity, تتطرق إلى المدح بالأوصاف المطلقة التي تعرف بالأدلة، كقوله إنه متق وورع وزاهد وخير and وما يجري مجراه, that this person وخير, that this person is a muttaqi, is a person of taqwa, and wara'a wa zahid. If you make these categorical statements, these general and absolute statements, these are absolute qualities. So you cannot make these pronouncements without saying وَلَا أُزَكِّي عَلَى اللَّهِ أَحَدٍ, that I say this, but Allah knows best. فأما إذا قال رأيته يصلي بالليل أو يتصدق أو يحج, then فهذه أمور مستيقنة. That if a person says in regard to another, that look, I saw him praying, or I saw him giving charity, or I saw him doing hajj, then these are things that are easily observable and confirmed, and they are based on uncertainty. So you can say those. ومن ذلك قوله إنه عدل رضا فإن ذلك خفي. That these, to say that someone is a just person, then you've got to be, these are things that are hidden. فلا ينبغي أن يجزم القول, أن يجزم القول, that he should not then go into complete certainty with it and say that it is so and nothing else. إلا بعد خبر باطنة, unless he has some internal knowledge, some knowledge of deep familiarity with the person, that indicates to knowing his internal makeup. سمع عمر رضي الله عنه رجلا يثني على رجل, that Umar رضي الله عنه heard a person praising someone. فقال أسافرت معه, that have you traveled with this person? قال لا, he said no, I didn't. قال أخالته في المبايعة والمعاملة, said did you have transactions, business, any trade transactions with this person? قال لا, he said no, I didn't. قال فأنت جاره صاحبه صباحه ومساؤه, that are you his neighbor who sees him in the morning and evening? قال لا. He said, no, I didn't. قال والله الذي لا إله إلا هو. He said, then Umar radiallahu anhu said, I swear by Allah, who for whom there is no other God, there's no other deity. I swear, والله الذي لا إله إلا هو لا أراك تعرفه. I do not think you know him. In other words, in order to know someone's makeup, you cannot make these things up and just say it. You have to have close relationship. You have to know them in and out. You have to know them closely in order either you've traveled with them, either you've had transactions with them, you have business relations with them, or you are their neighbor. Then you will know them. So avoiding that is avoiding going into things, saying things, categorical statements of certainty about qualities, about characteristics that you cannot arrive at unless you have deep reason for it. You have adilla, you have evidence for it. Now, the fourth problem with this, the fourth pitfall, the fourth calamity that is associated with excessive madh and seeking praise, أنه قد يفرح الممدوح وهو ظالم أو فاسق. And this is a big one. He said that you may praise the person, a person who is a dhalim or a fasiq, a person who is a wrongdoer, who is wrongful or who is wicked, a wicked person or an oppressor, a dhalim or a fasiq. وذلك غير جائز, and that is not permitted. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله تعالى يغضب إذا مدح الفاسق, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets angry if a wicked person is praised, because that is turning the values on its head. And that's what we have a lot happening today, is that for reasons of material gain, people are praising people in high positions, even though they know that they're wicked. And this is not allowed. He's saying, no, you're not allowed to do that. وقال الحسن, this is Hasan al-Basri رحمة الله عليه, said, من دعا لظالم بالبقاء فقد أحب أن يعصى الله فقد أحب أن يعصى الله قد أحب أن يعصى الله تعالى في أرضه, that whosoever prays for a dhalim, for a wicked person or a wrongdoer or oppressor or an oppressor, bilbaqa, with long life, if you say long live so and so, and this person is dhalim, then faqad ahabba, so then that person then loves that Allah is disobeyed in his earth. والظالم الفاسق ينبغي أن يذم ويغتم, that it is necessary that an oppressor and a wrongdoer be criticized for what he has done. ولا يمدح ليفرح, and he should not be praised so that he may be happy about his conduct. So those are the four that are related to the person who is speaking. As for the recipient of the praise, أما الممدوح, the recipient of the praise, فيضره من وجهين, so it affects him from two angles. أحدهما, the first is أنه يحدث فيه كبرا وإعجابا, that it causes in him to grow a sense of pride and arrogance and haughtiness. Kibr and i'jab, that a person then feels, oh yeah, I'm something now. I've now made it, I've been recognized. And because our society is structured in such a way, our society is structured in such a way that the pinnacle that in the material sense is seen through these things, that in recognition you have in the olden days, people you used to look at the stars as ways of speaking about highness in the world, but now we've associated the stars with human beings in such a way that they are the pinnacle of society. So we have film stars. Somehow the stars that are in the sky have become associated with human beings, so they're called film stars. And then those stars, those so-called stars, are then given position and raised to among themselves the pinnacle of what we see as high, or what general society regards as the pinnacle of recognition, through these ceremonies, these large ceremonies. You have the Oscar ceremony and the Nobel ceremony and all these. Through this, then when society is structured like that, then everyone is seeking to have their recognition, and this is what happens. So that i'jab, that haughtiness comes through that. وهما مهلكان, and both of these are completely destructive. If you end up in this, then you become completely destructive. وقال الحسن رضي الله عنه, this is Hasan again al-Basri رحمة الله عليه, he's saying كان عمر رضي الله عنه قاعدا ومعه الدرة والناس حوله, that he was sitting once and he had a whip made of a leather whip with him, that you use for when riding. وإذ أقبل الجارود بن منذر, that is one of the leaders of a tribe. فقال رجل, and then one of the people of the tribe said هذا سيد الربيع, that this person is the leader of the Rabi'a, of the tribe. فقال لي فقال وما so then when he said that, when he said that هذا ربيع, فسمعها عمر ومن حوله. So Umar radiallahu anhu heard what this announcement and this praise that went around. وسمعها الجارود, and the leader also heard it. فلما دنا منه, so when this Jarud, this leader came next to Umar radiallahu anhu, and he had this whip in his hand, this leather whip. So what he did, خفقه بالدرة, so he smacked him with the whip. فقال ما لي ولك يا أمير المؤمنين. So the man was stunned and he said, well, what did I do, O Amir al-Mu'mineen? What wrong have I done? And then Umar radiallahu anhu said, ما لي ولك أما لقد سمعتها. He said, well, you're asking, have you not heard what was said about you? قال سمعته فما. He said, I heard it, so what? He said, خشيت أن يخالط قلبك منها شيء, that يخالط قلبك, that I fear that your heart will get mixed with it, that you're made. So I'm bringing you. So فأحببت أن أطعت عنك. So I wanted to bring you to bring it low, to lower your rank a little, so that it doesn't go to your heart. So that is the idea, is that you're preventing the nafs from going into tughyan, from running havoc with your sense of discernment and your ability to recognize who you really are. The second point in regard to the al-mamduh, الثاني هو أنه إذا أثنى عليه بالخير, that if a person is praised, the one who is praised. Okay, one point I needed to say about the first point that I just mentioned, that know that this is Umar radiallahu anhu, and he was a man with deep perspicacity, with deep insight. He had basira. So this is not for any and anyone to do this kind of behavior. But what we are concerned here with is Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's explanation that these sorts of statements can at times cause problems for the person you're speaking about. So he says, وَأَنَّهُ إِذَا أَثْنَى عَلَيْهِ بِالْخَيْرِ, that if he is praised, فَرِحَ بِهِ وَفَطَرَ عَنْ وَرَضِيَ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ, that he'll become pleased with himself, and he will feel that, look, I have made it. Yes, I've reached the position of recognition now, and then he will cease doing what he's doing. He will just give up. He will say, okay, well, I've made it now. I've been recognized, and that's it. وَرَضِيَ عَنْهُ لِنَفْسِهِ. There was a psychological study they did with children, and this was in the course of the discussion on narcissism. Narcissistic people like praise, and they were studying children reaction to different types of responses of praise. And what they did was that they gave them a series of tests and then said to some of them, oh, you won, and the others and one group they told them that you passed. And then they asked each of those children, would you like to retake the test? And the ones who were told that they had won said, no, we don't want to take the test again. But the ones who were told that you have passed, they were willing to take it again. So the point here is that if you are told that you have reached the pinnacle, and you are just the best thing, as we say in English, the best thing since sliced bread, I don't know about, not such a big fan of sliced bread, but the point is that, yeah, there is, if you're told that you won, then you don't want to continue. You feel that, yes, I've done, I'm okay. Whereas life is a persistent struggle, one after the other. So yes, you've done well, but don't think that now that's all. Yes, yeah. So you haven't done well. And that's why the focus with children and generally in development, you have to focus on the achievement. Yes, you have achieved a lot. You have won. Not that you have won a race. That this is somehow some race that you compare your progress in comparison to other people, but you compare your progress in relation to the amount of work that was necessary. So you've worked hard and you've made it. Not that you have made it, but you've worked hard and you have achieved. You have achieved something, and now there is, of course, more achievement. So this is what he's talking about. He said, "فرح به وفطر عنها ورضي عن نفسه," and then he become pleased about himself. ومن أعجب بنفسه, and the one who has become satisfied with himself, قل تشمره. And a person who become excessively pleased with themselves, then they will become their endeavoring will be reduced. They will not work as hard anymore. وإنما يتشمر للعمل من يرى نفسه مقصرا. That the one who really endeavors, the one who really strives and struggles, is the one who sees that he's running short, that he needs to do more. So in order for that, if your person comes and says, "Oh no, you're so good, you've taken over, you're now brilliant, and you have won, and you're now better than everybody else," then what does that do? That just cause you to go into shutdown. Say, "Okay, fine, yeah, I've done, I'm there." فأما إذا انطلقت الألسنة بالثناء, and so he's saying that if a person sees themselves as short, مقصر, they're running short, إذا أطلق الألسنة, the tongue starts to speak about them, then they ظن أنه قد أدرك. He thinks that he have reached the rank. ظن أنه أدرك. He's now arrived. He's now reached there. He's reached recognition. ولهذا قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قطعت عنق صاحبه. And this is why Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم is saying that you have separated his head. You have decollated his head. لو سمعها ما أفلح. That if he hears what you're saying, then he will not be successful. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا مدحت أخاك في وجهه فكأنما أمررت على حلقه موسى رميدا. That if you praise your brother, in other words, with excessive praise in his face, then it is as if you are running a razor on his neck. وقال أيضا لمن مدح رجلا أقرت الرجل وأقرك الله. This is not really hadith. He didn't say this. This is Imam. This is a mistake in here. This is not a hadith. This is qawl. I think the highest. This will go is to Umar, a statement of Umar radiallahu anhu, is that you have caused, you've done the same thing. You've destroyed him. وقال مطرف ما سمعت قط ثناء أو مدحة إلا تصاغرت إلي نفسي. So now Mutarrif said that whenever I hear a praise, and now this goes to show you that that people vary in the way they receive praise. Some people can take it and turn it around into something beneficial, but most people fail with this. That if you reach to a certain level of iman and of taqwa and wara', then you will be able to deal with it, but it requires deep training and understanding and taqwa and reaching of a certain level. So I did not, whenever I didn't hear any praise or any flattery towards me, إلا تصاغرت إلي نفسي, that except that it seems that lesser, that I see myself as lesser than whatever people are saying. I always see myself lesser. I think that they are going overboard. So it doesn't really affect me. وقال يزيد بن أبي مسلم ليس أحد يسمع ثناء عليه أو مدحا إلا تراءى له الشيطان ولكن المؤمن يراجع. So he's quoting here two statements, one which seems contradictory, but you will understand when the explanation comes. He says that there's not that anytime a person is praised with this sort of flattery and heavy praise, then that shaitan appears to that person, and what he comes from, that shaitan finds him, because shaitan sees an opportunity there, that now here I can deal, I can now strike a blow. Shaitan sees an opening there because he can strike you. ولكن المؤمن, but the believer, يراجع, he then looks at himself. He then thinks about himself, and he said no. So, and the explanation for this, فقال ابن المبارك لقد صدق كلامهما, that both of these statements are correct. أما ما ذكره يزيد فذلك قلب العوام, that this is for what Yazid says, that is for the heart of the lay person. قبل أن يكمل نور الإيمان, before the iman reaches. So you bring yourself down. وأما ما ذكره مطرف, that it is that the second statement is the one for people who have reached that level. Then they are able to push it away. They do it. Yuraja, they focus on themselves, and then they realize they tell themselves that, look, what these people are saying should not bother you because you know your status. And as for the first statement, the one that we said, أما ما ذكره المطرف فذلك قلب الخواص, that is for the heart of the special people. When people, the people who have reached that level where someone says something to you, تصاغرت إليك نفسك, that your nafs goes down, and you do not become a victim of shaitan. You don't allow shaitan to take you over. For that is the person who has reached that heavy stage. But the one who is not, the one who is the general lay person, that person will fall. That person will end up in trouble, because shaitan will take hold of that opportunity and make use of it. So okay. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم لو مشى رجل إلى رجل بسكين, that if a person walks with a sharp knife, or muhrafin, that if they murhafin, that a person walks towards a person with a sharp knife, كان خيرا له من أن يثني عليه في وجهه, that it's better to him than he praise him in his face. And obviously this is emphasizing the same point. وقال عمر رضي الله عنه المدح هو الذبح, that praise is the slaughtering. And here is the image, the metaphor is one of separating your ability to think straight, separating your head from your body, from your heart. So, and you're left with just emotions, there's nothing. وذلك إن أن الممدوح هو الذي يفتر عن عمل, that the one who is praised, then he ceases to do his action, to do what he's supposed to do. والمدح يوجب الفتور, and praise causes idleness. ولأن المدح يورث الكبر والعجب, that it causes arrogance and haughtiness. وهما مهلكان كالذبح, and they are destructive like slaughter. فلذلك شبهه به, and this is why it is associated with that. It is made similar. The similitude is made. فإن سلم المدح عن هذه الآفات, so if praise is devoid of any of these 6 potential pitfalls, في حق المادح والممدوح لم يكن به بأس, then it will be acceptable. There will be no harm in it. بل ربما كان المندوب إليه, and also it may be something that is favored. You may encourage, if you do not have, if these 6 things are not there, if these 6 these 6 potential calamities are not apparent, are not there for it, then you can do it. ولذلك أثنى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على الصحابة, and it is for this that Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم praised the Sahaba. And this is Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. He has deep insight into the heart. See, Allah gives him the wahi, he can see, he has a vision and knowledge from Allah. So he's told, he says, ولو وزن إيمان أبي بكر بإيمان العالمين لرجع, that if the iman of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is weighed with the rest of the people, iman of Abu Bakr will surpass them, will be dominant over them. That's a strength of his knowledge of Abu Bakr's iman, of Abu Bakr's heart. And he also said to Umar radiallahu anhu, قال لعمر لو لم أبعث لبعثت يا عمر, that if I was not sent as a prophet, then you would. لو كان بعدي نبي لكان عمر, that if there was a prophet after me, it would be Umar. So these are things that are وأي ثناء يزيد على, this is the greatest of praise. There's no praise that is greater than this. ولكنه صلى الله عليه وسلم قال عن صدق وبصيرة. He said this on deep insight, with basira, with perspicacity, with vision, with knowledge from Allah, and sidq, total truth. وكان رضي الله عنه وكانوا رضي الله عنهم أجل رتبة من أن يورثهم ذلك كبرا أو عجبا أو فتورا. And the second thing, one is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says it on the basis of deep knowledge of who he's speaking to, and they were also of a state. They were also of a status. They had reached a status. They had reached a level where far above this, such that praise would affect them in a negative way and breed kibr and ujb and futur, which is arrogance and pride and haughtiness and idleness in their heart. It would not, because they were people who were trained by the best, by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. بل مدح الرجل نفسه قبيح. Now the second thing is praising of the self. Here we have a problem as well, and this is relative to us. That the praise of the self is odious. It's despicable to praise yourself. This is seen in all cultures, and especially in the Arab culture and in Islam. A person who praises themselves is seen as quite odious and low. It's a very lowly thing to do, to sit and praise yourself. And generally, I was looking at a study of linguistic analysis of general speech, and what they found was that they were looking at the percentages of speech in relation to speaking about other things and yourself. What's the percentage? How much do you speak about yourself? Because people who are self-obsessed talk a lot about themselves. People who have this disease, this narcissistic disease, they talk all the time about themselves and about what they have achieved, and even in simple sentences, if they lost their keys and they want to ask for where the key is, instead of saying, where have you seen my key, they will say, have you seen the keys to my Mercedes, or my BMW? Have you seen the keys to my BMW? That is because they find out an opportunity to add a bit into telling you that, look, my status. So in this analysis, what we found was that, well, not me, but the people who've done this research, that 40% of what people speak in general, the general percentage, 40% you speak about yourself. But then when you go online, it increases. And it increases to how much? When you write things online, your posts online, it increases to 80%. It doubles. So think about it. A person, and here we're being told that بل مدح الرجل نفسه قبيح. The person who praises himself is odious, it's despicable. لما فيه من الكبر والتفاخر, because and the reason for this is because there is arrogance and pride in it, and tafakhur, and the pride of the condescension, the pride of showing yourself above others. إذ قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, and for this Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, أنا سيد ولد آدم ولا فخر. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said that he was the chief of the sons of Adam, ولا فخر, but I'm not boasting, because and this is important to strike this distinction, that Rasulullah, that a person can say things they're making a focus of drawing your attention to Allah. Here he is saying that I'm سيد ولد ولا فخر, أي لست أقول هذا تفاخرا كما يقصد الناس, that I'm saying this not like how people say when they speak about themselves. I'm not saying it like that. and بالثناء على أنفسهم, that when people speak about themselves, they're usually doing it with فخر, doing it with pride. He's saying وذلك لأن افتخاره كان بالله, that he was saying this in praise of Allah, in about the great bounty that Allah has given, بقربه من الله ولا بكونه مقدما على ولد آدم. He was not saying this to demonstrate his superiority above everyone. He's showing about his closeness to Allah. Like a person, كما أن المقبول عند الملك قبولا عظيما إنما يفتخر بقبوله إياه وبه يفرح ولا بتقدمه على بعض رعاياه. That when a person says, oh well, the king has taken me close to him, he's saying that in praise of the king. He's not saying that in praise, in showing superiority over other people. He's speaking, he's praising the king with this statement. So in the same way, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying that Allah has made me chief of the Wuldi Adam, of the children of Adam, it's wala fakhr. I'm not saying this for fakhr. I'm just telling you what Allah has done and how merciful Allah is, how kind Allah is. So there, and in that we have an explanation of the behavior, of the mindset, the corrupting attitude and intention that is linked to people who say it, in people who indulge in talking about themselves and writing about themselves. So this is something that we should be careful about, and what we say, and especially start monitoring when you write on the internet, especially on social media, because social media is the place now where the biggest tragedy of this sort of communication, as I said, communication is what you write, what you read, what you hear, and what you speak. All of this, it's all these four modalities are all under the category of lisan. These are all part of the gift of language that Allah has given you. So وبتفسير هذه الآفات تقدر على الجمع بين ذم المدح وبين حث عليه. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم وجبت لما أثنوا على بعض الموتى. That, and you can also join these two. You can reconcile between the criticism of praise and also the encouragement for it, for what was on the basis of knowledge, on the basis of knowing what you're saying, because once people praise the dead, and he said wajabat, and the explanation was that those people have paradise has become assured for them when he said wajabat. So وقال مجاهد إن لنبي لبني آدم جلساء من الملائكة. And this is the important thing to bear in mind here, is that the children of Adam, he said that إن لبني آدم جلساء من الملائكة, that the children of Adam, when they sit, know that you have angels sitting among you. جلساء من الملائكة فإذا ذكر الرجل أخاه المسلم بخير فإذا ذكر الرجل أخاه المسلم بخير, that if a person mentions his brother with good things, with praise, قالت الملائكة, the malaika, they say, the angels say, وَلَكَ مِثْلُهُ, and may Allah give you the same. وَإِذَا ذَكَرَهُ بِالسُّوءِ, and if he mentions him with evil, قالت الملائكة, and then the angels say to him, يَا ابْنَ آدَمَ الْمَسْتُورَ عَوْرَتُهُ, O son of Adam, whose secrets are screened, are veiled. In other words, these people among whom you're speaking, they do not know about you. اربع على نفسك, care about yourself. واحمد الله الذي سطر عورتك, and thank Allah for what He has covered of your secrets. فهذه آفة المدح, and so this is the calamity of madh. بيان ما على الممدوح. Now this is the exposition of what is required from the recipient of praise. The first is that أن يكون شديد الاحتراز على آفة الكبر والعجب وآفة الفتور, that he should be very, very careful and worried. He should be very cautious about the tragedy of pride and of haughtiness and of idleness, of falling into idleness because of feeling that he has arrived. ولا ينجو منه إلا بأن يعرف نفسه. And you cannot really save yourself from this unless you focus and assess, analyze yourself, and understand where you are. ويتأمل في خطر الخاتمة, and worry about the danger of his end, the end of his own journey. Think about it, that yeah, you might seem good, but we don't know who will die on Iman. Who will die? Because Husnul Khatima is the thing. What will you die on? You might feel yourself very pious and all of this, but you have to be eternally worried. You have to be always perpetually worried that on death you don't slip up and miss your Iman. So you have to keep asking Allah. And then Daqa'iq al-Riya. Daqa'iq al-Riya, that you might think that, oh, I'm doing lots of good deeds, but then the finer details of ostentation is still in your heart. You're still showing off. You're still telling people. You're still making a point of people knowing what you have done. You're still showing. You have this slight attitude of making it known that, oh, I've done so and so, and do you know what I've done? And even when and doing it willfully to show off. Now, when you do good things for show, then on the day of judgment, there's no reward for that. So you should know. You should be worried about Riyad. وَآفَاتِ الْأَعْمَالِ, and then the things where that are not saved, you'll fall into trouble with not doing things properly. The actions that you think that you have not done them properly. فَإِنَّهُ يَعْرِفُ مِن نَفْسِهِ مَا لَا يَعْرِفُهُ الْمَادِحُ. So this is the point he has to keep in mind. First is that it's Husnul Khatima. That his Khatima, his ending, he doesn't know what his ending is going to be. He doesn't know if he has actually done it with full sincerity and avoided Riya, avoided showing off. And he doesn't know if he has actually done it as it should be done. And then he should also recognize that, look, فَإِنَّهُ يَعْرِفُ مِن نَفْسِهِ مَا لَا يَعْرِفُهُ الْمَادِحُ. That he knows about himself what the one who is praising does not know. That the one who praises you is saying all these good things about you, but he does not know all your secrets. He does not know what you have done. لَوْ إِنْكَشَفَ لَهُ جَمِيعُ أَسْرَارِهِ. If that person who is praising you today, if he was to be informed or suddenly see all your secrets, وَمَا يَجْرِي عَلَى خَوَاطِرِهِ, and all the thoughts that flow into your mind, لَكَفَّ الْمَادِحِ عَنْ مَدْحِهِ. That person, that praiser, that person who is singing your praise would stop praising you if he knew all of this. So this is the kind of thought that needs to flow in your heart, and then it will prevent you from becoming victim of these tragedies, of these pitfalls, if and when people praise you. وعليه يظهر الكراهة, and he should show an aversion to it. بإذلال المادح، وإليه إشارة بقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم حثوا في وجوه المداحين التراب. And this is why Rasulullah says you should not give. The thing today is that we treat people indifferent if they don't praise us, and the ones who praise us we are lifted above the head. And this is the problem. So Rasulullah said حثوا في وجوه المداحين التراب, that throw dust in the face of the people who praise you. Now, this is figurative speech, about turab, kullu ma fawqa turabi turab, that everything is on the earth of turab. Now, the ulama have explained this in several ways. One is that throwing dust here doesn't literally mean throwing dust. What it's talking about is that the reason why people praise is to earn wealth, is to earn gold and silver and things of value in the world. So do not give them that. Give them dust. Give them nothing. In other words, that's what he's saying. Don't give them anything. Don't tell them. And another explanation is that this حُتْسُوا فِي تُرَابِهِمْ, because the dirt in the face is actually dust in the face is seen as aib in Arab culture. So a person who has dust in the eye, to say in a person's face turab, that in itself is a sign to say turab in a person's face in front of him is humiliating. So that's another explanation. And the third, obviously, is the literal meaning that some people take. But at the point there is that to see it as all turab. What these people are saying to you, that كل ما فوق التراب تراب, to see it that whatever they are saying about you, that everything over dust is dust. This is a statement that all the things that we see around us have come out of the earth. So these are all dust, the dust that comes out of dust. So dust is dust. So once, so the Salihin, one of them saw people praising a person. Whenever they see people riding on the big Salatin, the big rulers, sultans, were riding on their horses and going, and people are praising them and shouting and singing their praises, they will say that turabun rakibun ala turabin, that this is dust riding on a piece of dust is riding a piece of dust, because all of this will go into the earth and become dust, all of it. So this is what turab is. So you should keep that in mind, that this all these pomp and glory that we create for ourselves here, it's all will be reduced to dust. ولا يضر المدح. So he said وقال سفيان بن عيينة لا يضر المدح من عرف نفسه. So he's saying that madh, praise, will not affect someone who really knows themselves, and that's the point. The problem is that we don't know ourselves. And to know yourself, you have to spend time contemplating. You have to spend time with introspection, looking at yourself, thinking about your history, thinking about your sins, thinking about the things you've done, the things you haven't done, the things you should have done, the things that you need to do. And when you think about all of that and all the sins, the potential pitfalls that you may not have, the salah you might not pray properly, the wudu you might not have done, the neglect you have indulged in, and the ghafla, the speaking to your parents in a different way, in a way that you shouldn't. Oh, there are so many things that you can remember and recognize what your real status is, and be afraid of it. Be afraid of your sins. That's what a person should be. So he's saying لا يضر, that it will not affect such a person. ولا يمدح المادح من عرف نفسه. وأثنى على رجل من الصالحين فقال اللهم إن هؤلاء لا يعرفونني وأنت تعرفني. A pious person was praised, and he says, "Oh Allah, verily they do not know me, and you know me." So there we go, of knowing yourself. وقال الآخر لما أثني علي اللهم إن عبدك هذا تقرب إلي بوقتك. That oh Allah, when they praised him, he said, "Oh Allah, that your servant, that this slave of yours wants to try to get close to me by displeasing you. وأنا أشهد وأنا أشهدك على مقته." And I'm making you witness that I dislike him. I dislike it and dislike it. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال علي رضي الله عنه. Ali رضي الله عنه لما أثني عليه, when he was praised, he said, اللهم اغفر لي ما لا يعلمون. Oh Allah, forgive me for what they do not know. In other words, what he thinks of himself, everything they do not know. ولا تؤاخذني بما يقولون. And do not take me to task for what they are saying. وجعلني خيرا مما يظنون, and make me better than what they think. In other words, in your eyes. وأثنى رجل على عمر رضي الله عنه فقال أتهلكني وتهلك نفسك. Umar was praised, and he said, what, are you going to destroy me? You're ruining me and yourself. وأثنى رجل على علي رضي الله عنه, and a person praised Ali, and he went into excessive praise. And this is the hadith is in more detail in other books. And in this, the man went into lots of praise. فقال بلغ قد بلغه, he said to him, أنا دون ما قلت, that I am nowhere of what you are saying. وفوق ما في نفسك, but I am better than what is in your heart. In other words, Ali radiallahu anhu was given insight into this, and this is what I'm talking about, this perspicacity. I'm better than what you're thinking, what's in your heart, because this man didn't really like Ali radiallahu anhu, but he was praising him, and he went into excess. So he said, look, I'm less than what you say, but more than what's in your heart. So he saw it. He was able to discern this. And this is what I'm saying about the perspicacity of the deep insight of the believer. That sometimes they can see it. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he's a man, دخل رجل, there's hadith in regarding Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. This is after the death of the Prophet. This did not only happen at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but afterwards as well. That, okay, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he said he saw a man, and he said that this man is not a is in the fire, and the man was fighting on their side. He was in the among the Muslims, and during the battle, the man fought and died. So they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said to him that, oh, this man fought with us and he died for us. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them that, look, inna Allah la yansuru hada ad-din bil-rajul al-fajir, that inna Allah la yu'ayyidu hada ad-din bil-rajul al-fajir, that sometimes Allah may assist the deen, assist Islam with a wicked person, that and that may happen. And then they went back and looked at, and then someone came and reported what actually happened. Yes, the man did die, but they said that he didn't die in the battle. What happened was that during the night, he was injured and he decided to commit suicide. And as we know, a person who commits suicide goes to hell. And then people realize that what Rasulullah said. But what's important here is that if you're doing lots of good things for Deen and lots of good things for Islam, don't think that that's proof that somehow you are good and you have reached everything. When people praise you, you should worry and think to myself, oh, wonder if Allah is using me. Just like He may use someone, He may use يُؤَيِّدُ هَذَا الدِّينَ بِالرَّجُلِ الْفَاجِرِ. You're a person who is wicked, but yet he's destined to be. So we are all Allah's slaves. He can use whoever He wills. He can use a mosquito. He can use a gnat, like He's using the coronavirus. He can use anything to fulfill His plan, what He has decreed. So yes, I was telling you about this story about Osman radiallahu anhu. A man came in to visit him, and he said to the man, he said, while coming in, the man saw a woman on the road, on the street while he was coming in. So he pondered on her beauty. He had a good look at her. So when he came in, Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, his insight, his perspicacity, his heart, his development was such that he was able to see it in the man's eye. So he said to the man, he said, فَقَالَ لَهُ عُثْمَانَ يَدْخُلُ عَلَيَّ أَحَدُكُمْ وَأَثَرُ الزِّنَا ظَاهِرٌ فِي عَيْنِهِ. That people come in to see me, and the effect of zina of the eye, because looking, that type of staring at a woman's beautiful parts of her body, that itself is known as zina of the eye. It's adultery of the eye. So he says, أَثَرُ الزِّنَا ظَاهِرٌ فِي عَيْنِهِ, that the effect of zina is visible in his eye. So when the man heard that, he was shocked. فَقَالَ أَوَحْيٌ بَعْدَ الرَّسُولِ. He said, are you telling me that is wahi, revelation is continuing even after the Prophet? The man was shocked that this could have happened. And then he said, no. فَقَالَ لَا, no, it's not wahyu, وَلَكِنْ تَبْصِرَةً وَبُرْهَانٌ وَفِرَاسَةٌ صَادِقَةٌ. That it is insight, it is deep insight, it's enlightened vision, it is insight, it's perspicacity that Allah gives, that this comes from Allah. You see it. So there are some people who will be able to say, with the vision, and the Sahaba did, and the ulama, the Salihin, they can, from time to time. But that is different from the awam, from the layman, general people, the vast majority of people. They cannot claim this and make recommendation of people. And now, after this discussion, usually people ask the question, but what about my CV? Am I allowed to put these sorts of things? Yes, you are, for purposes of your work, but then do not lie, though. You should not lie in your CV when you write. You should always speak the truth. Yes, you can say it in ways that are permissible. Then you are allowed to do things. It will not be for the purposes of your job, because that's the system in which we live, unfortunately, and so we cannot avoid that. But generally, yes. So alhamdulillah, this is the end of the lesson of this chapter. Inshallah, next week is the 19th chapter, في غفلة عن دقائق الخطأ في فحوى الكلام. Okay, we'll do that next week, inshallah, if Allah keeps us alive. وجزاكم الله خيرا, and keep us in your dua. وكل عام وأنتم بخير. Eid Mubarak, and make sure that you do your takbirat after your salah, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.